Sweet. We found something back here.
I am delighted to introduce to you this morning special guest Randy Franks of the NBC hit series In the Heat of the Night. He's joining us this morning, and he's here in the area to tell us all about the Spring Bluegrass Festival. But before we go to that, let's talk a little bit about In the Heat of the Night. I understand that you have just completed your 22nd episode.
That's right. We did about 3 weeks ago, just did the last episode, which will air next week.
Okay, in case some of the people out there are not familiar with In the Heat of the Night, you play Officer Randy, which also stars Carol O'Connor as Chief Gillespie, and also Howard Rollins is on there, plays Detective Virgil Tibbs, along with some other people on there too.
Oh yes, there's quite a few fine members of our cast.
And I tell you, we just love that police drama in this area.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Do you think that you will be on for the next season of In the Heat of the Night?
Well, we don't know at this time. We will know within a few weeks whether the cast members will be brought back. And I'm under a little different situation because I'm a reoccurring character and not a member of the formal cast that's shown at the front of the show. But we should know by the end of June.
Okay. We'd also like to mention that we have someone from the area, Florida area, who stars on there.
That's right. David Hart, who is the character Parker, is from Marianna, Florida, and his father, Lloyd Hart, is one of the local radio personalities in the Florida area, and we definitely want to say hello to him. And
okay. Also, you've been in 3 movies. If you would, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've worked in a couple of films, one on CBS, which was called Desperate for Love, which starred Brian Bloom and Christian Slater. That film aired earlier this year on CBS, and I simply was a member of the choir, which school choir. It was a high school love story. So it was then I also did a small part in a film called Blindside, which I don't believe that's aired yet.
Okay. How did you go about getting the part as Officer Randy?
Well, I was very lucky. Lucky. Blessed is more the word.
Blessed, yeah, that's more the word.
More the word, because I went from being an extra on the show. I started the first episode as an extra, and they invited me back the second episode, invited me back the third and the fourth. Then they asked me to be a regular police officer on the show. And then they gave me my first line in the series, and then another, and everything's went from there.
Right.
So.
I understand at the very, very early age of 8 years old, you started playing musical instruments.
That's right.
Okay, and you are still doing that.
Yes, that's where I've spent a lot of my time over the past 10 to 12 years is performing in the music area, and I've performed in bluegrass and also in gospel music, and I've also performed in country. So.
And I tell you, bluegrass is really popular in this area.
Very much so. It's a very strong market in this area. For a lot of years, Albany, or the area, was centered for bluegrass. Jim and Jesse are very big in this area. They had a show that came out of Albany for many years.
Okay. Now there's a big event that's happening this weekend. Tell us all about that.
Well, that's a festival which is in Laurel Hills, Florida. Laurel Hill is just over the state line from Florala, Alabama. And it's a big festival. It features the Warrior River Boys, the Marksmen, the Golden River Grass, Lost and Found, Perfect Timing, Bill Muntz and the Outlaws, the Cox Family, and the Bottom Dollar Boys. A lot of different talent, traditional, pure music that everybody can go and enjoy, and it's a great thing to take your mother out, since it's Mother's Day weekend, to the Bluegrass Festival Friday night and Saturday, a big covered area, doesn't matter rain or shine.
Okay, and that's happening this weekend, May 12th and 13th. You brought along a tape with you this morning, and we'd like to take a look at that right now.
And this is from the show Tonight at Ferlinghetti's from WPBA, Channel 30 in Atlanta.
Back in the days of my childhood, in the evening when everything was still, I used to sit and listen to the folk towns with my dad in those old Kentucky hills. I'm on my way back to the old home, that road winds on up the hill, but there's no light in the window that shines on the road where I live.
And of course, that was Randy Franks that you just saw. Looks a little bit different this morning. Okay. If you would tell us a little bit about your album that you are working on right now.
Well, I'm working on a brand new album that will include several different types of numbers from bluegrass, traditional country, and gospel. And we're in the studio working on that now, and I'm also working on a brand new instrumental album featuring the fiddle, because that's one of the main instruments I play.
Okay. If you would mention a little bit about the father of bluegrass, about working with him.
Well, in 1984 I had the opportunity to go and work with Bill Monroe, who is the father of bluegrass music, and he's a wonderful source of learning. Very, very talented man. He's written a lot of the material that is played and sang in country music and bluegrass music today. Elvis Presley had one of his biggest hits, Blue Moon of Kentucky, that Bill Monroe wrote. Ricky Skaggs recently recorded Uncle Pen, which was one that Bill wrote. He's a wonderful, wonderful man, and I learned a great deal working with him, playing fiddle and acoustic bass.
Okay. We can't let the segment end without asking about one of my favorites on there, and that's Howard Rollins.
Howard Rollins.
What is his personality really like?
He's wonderful. He is a wonderful man. I'll tell you the one thing that just hits me the best about Howard. Anyone who walks onto our set that he doesn't recognize, he does not let the day go by without him going up to them and asking them who they are and introducing himself just to make them feel at home.
Good.
He's a wonderful person.
Okay. And again, I'd like to mention about, I was just told to ask you about Joe Don.
Well, Joe Don came and worked with us the last 4 episodes of the season. He is also a very nice man. I found him to be, I was, of course, familiar with him from Walking Tall and some of the other shows that he did, but was very pleased with his personality. He was a nice man.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, they shouldn't have won. The center can't jump, the guards can't pass, they have no bench.
Just amazing, isn't it? After 12 comes
13, 14, 15. I mean, 21 turnovers, 16 rebounds, and 1 foul shooter over 60%. Man.
Yeah, Buddy Womack dropping in them long shots, and 3-pointers can make up for a lot of weaknesses. Come on now, 5 more. Yeah.
All right. 20.
That's just be a lesson to you, boys. Never bet against the home team.
Yes, sir, I've got it. Yes. A detective.
Oh, yeah, what, Parker, what?
There's been a car wreck out on Old Browning Road, about a half-mile north of 138. This guy says he's already called for ambulances, and he says it's a real bad one.
I know where that is. Sweet, you go with me. Bubba and Jameson are already in that part of town, so have them meet me out there at the site.
Yes, sir. He says it was kids from the gang.
We really appreciate you coming out this morning. We really
My
do.
pleasure.
And again, we want to mention about the Spring Bluegrass Festival. You can go over and see Randy Franks in person from
That's
In the
right.
Heat of the Night. He will be performing there. That's May 12th and 13th. You can take your entire family. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Randy?
Well, I would like to mention that I'll be back down in this area next weekend, not this weekend, but the next, in Albany, Georgia, for a big show to raise money for child abuse prevention.
And that's for a very good cause.
Very good cause in Albany, Georgia, at the
Okay.
fairgrounds.
And much success.
Thank
In
you.
the Heat of the Night. And we have more coming up on the morning show right after this.